Buenos dias to this lazy Sunday. We are 2 weeks out from Cosmoverse 2024 in Dubai, which has been in the works since 11 months. I'm very, very glad that the preparations are coming to an end, even though the next 2 weeks are going to be crazy and very, very intense. But I'm looking forward to see all of you cosmonauts here in Dubai. We're actually going to release the agenda tomorrow. So keep an eye on the agenda. Right now, you don't see the agenda tab here, but you'll be able to see that. We have the speakers list already confirmed, and I think this is the best speaker lineup we ever had. We have Sandeep from Polygon, Charles from DYDX, we have the Coinborough fam there, Irina, who is also well connected and well known here in Dubai in the UAE, Greg, founder of Akash, Mustafa, founder of Celestia, Mert from the Solana community, JP, founder of Mantra, and so on and so forth. Babylon leading the Bitcoin track. Rand is going to come. We'll also soon launch the option to purchase day passes, which means if you're based in the UAE, for example, and you know you can only make it for one of the 3 conference days, then you can also just get a single day pass. And October is really happening in Dubai. The kickoff of the October events month is going to happen around Future Blockchain Summit and GITEX, which is a huge, huge event, a tech event. FBS is their blockchain arm, and this attracts usually tens of thousands of people from all over the world, which means Dubai is going to be packed with people, packed with events for the next couple of weeks. Anyway, switching gears, there is a documentary coming out on Wednesday on HBO, and that documentary claims to reveal the true identity of Satoshi Nakamoto, which is obviously a bold marketing statement, I would say. I don't think we'll ever find out who Satoshi really is or was, but they've certainly done a great job in hyping people up about that documentary. I'm obviously going to watch it as well. It's called Money Electric, the Bitcoin story, and will come out on Wednesday, October 8, 9 p.m. Eastern. Now, we talked a lot in the past couple of weeks about banks and TradFi entering crypto, launching stablecoins. PayPal just surpassed $1 billion in on-chain liquidity for their stablecoin, which has been something that launched in the midst of the bear market. Now we're seeing BBVA, which is a bank from Spain that is also planning to launch a Visa-backed stablecoin in 2025. And the outcome of that is more credibility for crypto as an industry and people just doing more and more their homework. They're forced to do it. And number 2, obviously it opens up fresh new liquidity rails. Looking into the interchain price movements today, we're seeing everything slightly down 5%, 1.3%, 2.7%, Injective down below $20, Atom 458, Say 41 cents, TIA 517, the only one that's in the greens here. However, there are a lot of updates, a lot of product launches. Finally, the Cosmos Hub has launched permissionless interchain security, which can also be labeled as permissionless restaking. Now, the only question about that, is there sufficient demand and sophisticated demand, right, from quality projects, from a large amount of projects that also are able to attract actual users and actual volumes and liquidity. And for the Cosmos Hub specifically in that context, the question is whether the Cosmos Hub and Atom can still go through a revival process and restore some of the excitement, fun, culture, and community vibes, right? Because it went through a lot, it continues to go through a lot. And I always say, if you want to invest in Cosmos, holding Atom is a must, but it's far from enough. Like, you can't just hold Atom and say, oh, I'm invested in Cosmos. You need to always be in the pulse of the next chains that are launching, right? The Sagas, the Celestias, the Osmosis, of course, Say Network, Injective, Torchain, you name it. But you really need to be well diversified in the Cosmos ecosystem if you want to invest in Cosmos technology, right? Because there's no one coin that you can buy. It's that's the difference between the Fed protocol thesis and the app chain thesis, right? App chains mean sovereignty amongst different use cases. So let's say, for example, you're bullish on Cosmos and you're bullish on AI, or you're bullish on NFTs, or you're bullish on EVM, right? There's a basket of coins that you can invest in, right? Because if you're saying I'm bullish on EVM and I'm bullish on Cosmos, then Atom is definitely not the coin for you. Then you should look into Injective, into Say, into Barachain that's coming up, and many more, right? FMOS, of course, they have also been the early pioneers of building and shipping Ethermint, the first ever EVM framework using Cosmos technology underneath. But yeah, now we have permissionless ICS, and the question is now, what's next? What are the first chains that are going to launch? In that context, we also are still waiting for Forge. Forge is going to be the front end that will make it very, very easy for those new chains to launch, right? So Forge is going to be a one-stop shop for all Atom delegators, also a smooth entry for new consumer chains that are launching through permissionless ICS, and also for validators to find consumer chains to opt in. Because now you have ICS v2 that allows for a subset of validators to secure consumer chains, and Forge is going to be the front end for that, and Hydro is going to be the liquidity component, a liquidity auction platform for that. So I can see how on a product level, finally there's an actual game plan and puzzle pieces that are fitting in together. The question is now on the demand side, obviously, and also on the community side of things. Noble, for example, would be a fantastic candidate to evolve into a consumer chain and to become atom secured finally. I think there was a time when Noble considered using Ether's stake for their security source. Ethers was a Cosmos chain that was supposed to be implementing EigenLayer to basically use restaked ETH to secure Cosmos chains. But I'm not sure what's the current state of this project. If you know more about that, then please let me know. But I haven't seen them around in many, many months. But Noble is still running as a proof of authority chain, which means there's zero incentives for validators. We're running a validator with Cryptocito since day one. But yeah, Noble having a nearly $300 million TVL, mainly in native USDC. We also talked about this recent integration with Monerium and Ondo as well, USDY, and a lot more. Noble is also one of the fastest chains. In fact, the second fastest chain here, block time being 1.53 seconds, only second to Solana. But I do think Solana has a longer time to finality. There's a difference between block time and time to finality. Solana has a 400 millisecond block time, but I think a larger finality time. But this is really what Cosmos is all about, right? It's like you can build a custom chain for a specific use case and optimize for performance that makes it best suited for whichever use case, right? And Noble is a chain that has been in production for quite some time, but like I said, it's still permissioned. There's no native coin, and it still does not have a public plan, at least, for how to source security. So we'll keep an eye on that. I still hope and wish for Noble to consider using Atom for its security, then also maybe Kava for native USDT. I think those two powerhouses in connection with Hydro, for me, make a lot of sense to at least consider that, right? And I think being Atom secured also does not mean like this is going to be, we're all in on Atom now. Noble can still be ETH secured or Bitcoin secured through Babylon, right? I think there's also going to be a hybrid solution, which the Cosmos Hub itself also wants to be positioned as, right? The security aggregation kind of narrative that's been floating around. Speaking of Babylon, we talked about how Babylon is going to raise the caps in 3 days on October 9. They're going to raise the caps, and there will be a 10 block window, and however many Bitcoin fit into that window will be staked on Babylon. So that's going to probably 10-20x the Babylon TVL, which is right now around $16 million, but I think it will probably cross $1 billion. That's my bold prediction. It will probably cross $1 billion as soon as this cap is getting raised next week. David also saying, the founder of Babylon, if you've been subscribed to his channel, then you know him since 2022. David saying, Babylon is the third native use case for Bitcoin. Until now, there have been two use cases, store value and payment. For non-native use cases, you must trust a third party. Babylon is trustless. And I'm going to be very honest with you. If Babylon really works and is sustainable, does not break, this is actually an absolute game changer for Bitcoin, right? And I think I'm not technical enough, I'm not smart enough on a technical layer to assess like what the true risks are. I'm sure this is something that has never been seen before, highly experimental, right? Always see it like that in the first place. So you're not surprised in case anything happens. I'm an investor in Babylon. We're running a validator. We're running a finality provider. I know David for a long time. I know the core team for a long time. And if Babylon really manages to capture the large majority of the shares in the Bitcoin staking field, which Babylon created, then this is going to be an absolute massive project, because Bitcoin itself, Bitcoin alone, has over $1 trillion in market cap. And if Babylon can only unlock 10% of that, that would be already a $100 billion project. Now, another project that is currently a sleeping giant, in my opinion, is Neutron. We talked about it also a lot pre-launch with a lot of content around the launch, multiple interviews and live streams. They always come to customers. They're also going to be at customers this year with a full squad. And Zion has made this ecosystem report, basically indicating the Neutron ecosystem is very, very much alive. Led by Drop, which is basically a liquid staking protocol that is backed by Lido itself, Lido being the largest, most successful application in all of crypto. And Drop, in the short time of its existence, with a $4.58 Atom price and absolute dead market sentiment, managed to attract $20 million in TVL for their Atom liquid staking. Right now, they only have Atom liquid staking live. Obviously, they have this Drop droplets campaign, which is basically a point system. But yeah, and this is being funneled into DeFi applications, right? We also made tutorials here and videos about how to deposit this on Levana and some other applications, but definitely very interesting. Then also Amulet Finance, which launched on Neutron, self-repaying liquidation-free loans. Margent also deployed the first vault on Neutron. AXV DEX, which also attracted over $1 million in liquidity, and also Mars Protocol, which is in the process of fully migrating from their own chain, from their own L1 onto the Neutron hub. And there's also a process where you, if you're a Mars holder, if you're holding the Mars token, need to take immediate action to withdraw and basically migrate your old Mars token from the Mars chain onto the new Neutron Mars token. I made a full tutorial about that. I'm probably also going to leave a link below this video. If you are holding Mars and still, or have them staked on the Mars chain, then you need to take immediate action because that chain is being shut down and will migrate entirely onto Neutron. Next, we also have some news from Saga, where we talked a lot about the airdrop that is a gift that keeps on giving and makes a lot of you a lot of money. I know that because I get a lot of messages from you guys, so congratulations on that. And the next airdrop distribution is happening very, very soon. I think early next week, we're going to get our airdrop from last week. And then probably there's going to be a snapshot taken shortly thereafter, which means I think, upon receiving the airdrop, it makes sense to consider just staking that entire amount, because the more people drop out, the more likely you get a bigger pie of the next distribution. Unless, of course, you're not bullish on Saga anymore, whatever, you want to exit, fair enough. If you don't believe in a project, if you want to cash in some profits, but this is just something that I'll most likely be doing. It's just staking my entire airdrop amount. That said, there are 400 projects in the Saga Innovator program, which is basically the Saga ecosystem, and most of them, the vast majority, are games, because Saga is a chain, an ecosystem that is focused on the gaming sector. The chain is also optimized for performance, to basically be the best place for games to launch. And this is an absolute huge void that is yet to be filled in the Cosmos ecosystem, and Saga might be the one. Next, we also have some news from Celestia, another application that has announced that they're upgrading to scale with Celestia as a permissionless data availability layer. And I think many of you, Celestia might not be kind of that interesting because it's not consumer facing. It's not a kind of end user first kind of chain or product. It's more so a B2B chain that provides services to other applications, which is data availability, right? DA as a service. That's what Celestia is doing to scale those chains and to offload some of their complexity and infrastructure. I don't know too much about Payy, to be honest, but they do sound very bullish on Celestia and to be migrating or using Celestia for data availability. Then we also have some big news from Axelar. I don't know if this can be real. 2.2 million impressions for this tweet, this post, for their announcement of basically the Axelar Mobius development stack called MDS, which is a new interoperability standard that also leverages enhanced AXL token utility. We also did a couple interviews with Sergey here on this channel over the years, who was previously also the co-founder at Algorand, as well as Georgios, who's also going to be at Cosmoverse, by the way, in our RWA track. But yeah, definitely interesting. Read through that, especially if you're technical. I think this is a more technical announcement, but here you see the whole overview of that new MBS stack, how it works. And it uses also a lot of the kind of terminology around the interchain, which is eventually everything is going to be the interchain, right? Axelar is also obviously heavily making use of IBC underneath for kind of interoperability. And also they're going to integrate Eigenlayer and Babylon, which is also cool for their shared security layer. Then we also have some news from Range Securities by my good friend Monty, who is finally making some big announcements and big progress. I know he's been working on this for many years. We also teased in the last video that there's potentially something waiting for BadKits. At least you can have early access if you're a BadKit holder. Monty is also a big BadKit himself. And you can also check out the platform here. It's already live, app.range.org. And that's a security and intelligence platform monitoring around $20 billion in TVL. And it gives you basically alerts in case there's any sketchy or malicious activities happening on chain. Then we have a major milestone achievement by Osmosis, $36 billion in total trade volume. Also lots of upgrades happening. We talked a lot about the tokenomics refinements, the UX improvements, more integrations, more connections to other ecosystems as well. The introduction of alloyed assets, which we also have some more news to share in a second. And also the Osmosis card that is coming very soon in collaboration with Cypher. Speaking of alloyed assets, Nolos just announced that they're going to go all in on BTC by basically making use of Osmosis's alloyed BTC. If you're unfamiliar with the term alloyed basically means that there's a version of Bitcoin BTC that is backed by a basket of variations, right? For example, alloyed BTC on Osmosis is backed by Rep BTC from BitGo, so that's WBTC, NBTC by Nomic, CKBTC by ICP, so even from like different ecosystems. And what alloyed BTC fixes is basically two things. Number one, you don't have to choose and think about, okay, what is ZKBTC versus NBTC? What are the differences? What can I do with it? You only have one version of BTC, which is the standard version called all BTC. And number two, you're also mitigating some of the risk, right? Because whenever you have these derivatives of Bitcoin, sometimes you have counterparty risk, at least you have contract or code risk, right? Then updates from Injective, 1 billion on-chain transactions achieved. Also a big milestone achievements. We also talked about INJ 3.0 being around the corner, which would make INJ deflationary. So that's also coming. And also INJ, according to this page here, according to this overview, the fastest growth in the past week in terms of average active addresses, 126% growth. Second is Stayner, which we also talked about. Their DeFi ecosystem really exploding, their TVL exploding, over $250 million in the meantime. Then we have some big news about Mantra. Mantra is about to launch their Cosmos Layer 1 blockchain optimized for RWAs, and they have proposed a major tokenomics overhaul, which basically is going to double the total supply. That also introduces an inflation rate, and also a part of that new mint is going to be an airdrop that is going to be given out to the interchain community, to stakers on the Cosmos Hub, for example, for the Mantra node. So if you're delegated your Atom to the Mantra node, you're going to get an airdrop. If you're holding a bad kid, you get an airdrop. Also, I think a Celestian Sloth is considered, and even Mad Scientists, even BitKids, I think as well. So NFT communities, Atom stakers are going to get part of this 50 million airdrop. And subject to vesting as well. I'm sure a lot of you are not too amused about the cliff and vesting and all these kind of things. But what we did here on the Cito Zone is a full TLDR on these proposed changes, also distribution, lockups, their investor rounds and all these kind of things. And the gen drop, inflation rates, full in-depth recap of this proposal. And I'm saying proposal because this is something that was proposed by the Mantra core team and is now up for voting, but it looks like this is going to go through. It ends actually in 4 days. So in 4 days, the vote ends, and then this is going to be executed this month. And October also means that they're going to launch mainnet very soon. This is going to be a full-on Cosmos Layer 1 blockchain, as I said, optimized for RWA. Speaking of tokenomics, we also have the on-chain voting that concluded, that had multiple phases. We've been covering it here over the past weeks about the A0 token, which did not have a max supply, which did not have a clear emission schedule. But now the A0 community has voted, and it's completed now. So A0 has new economics. Number one, a 520 million max supply for the A0 token. The inflation exponentially decreases, with 27 million A0 being emissioned in the first year, and then introduces exponential decreasing emission schedule thereafter. And another major announcement has been made by Aleph in collaboration with Bank Pekao, which is one of the largest banks in Poland, and actually the second largest bank in Poland. And they're collaborating together also with Degen House to tokenize NFTs basically, and they are doing that on the Aleph blockchain. So A0 is doubling down on the enterprise game, is doubling down also on different use cases, different verticals. Also the retail game with launching Common a couple of months ago, we talked about that. There's also some interesting DeFi opportunities, refining their tokenomics, and one of the strongest teams on the technical side of things. And as media partners of the Cito Zone and Cryptocito, we're also closely in touch with the Aleph team, my researchers and I. And Aleph is one of the most active teams right now that also builds out more interoperability rails, hopefully one day also with Cosmos, by just natively integrating IBC. Anthony, the co-founder, is also going to be at Cosmos, by the way. They do have a panel on the 23rd of October together with Carol from Union and also Sandeep from Polygon, but we'll share the full agenda on that very soon. Lastly, I want to leave you with the NFT recap, number 20 already. We have done 20 of those. Stefan from my team, big NFT guy himself, is writing these down, and this is a full-on NFT guide for the Cosmos ecosystem. The sloth floor has now surged above 500,000 stars, which is really good to see, because I also bought my first 2 sloth a couple weeks ago, I think 2 weeks ago. We also talked about it here on the channel. So great to see that this is happening. Mind Scientist also on fire after the filter, hitting new all-time highs. Fractal.fun, which fractionalizes your NFTs, adding new collections, and some promising mints are around the horizon. And the best part about this is that we'll have a lot of the NFT artists and founders present at Cosmoverse. So we're going to have Joe Kowalski, the founder of Bad Kids, is going to be there. We have Paco Legordo from Celestine Sloth, who is going to be at Cosmoverse as well. Also, a lot of Celestia community members and a lot of Bad Sloth are going to be around, Bad Kids and Celestine Sloth holders. And also, potentially, the creator of After the Filter is also going to be at Cosmoverse. And we're going to have a very, very cool panel in our gaming and NFTs track at Cosmoverse. Anyways, that's all for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. Price is not doing too much today on this lazy Sunday. Go hit the gym, go get your Cosmoverse tickets, book your flights to Dubai. There's also a discount on our website. If you want to purchase an Emirates flight through Cosmoverse, you can do that right here. There's a discount code with our partners at Emirates, and also a discount at the hotel venue, the Grand Hyatt Dubai, 1,000 AD per night. That's around 250, 260 bucks. But that means you're staying at the conference venue with all of the other founders and people and teams, and this includes breakfast as well. So you're going to have a very, very productive experience at Cosmoverse, I would say. Anyways, that's all for today, and I'll see you guys very soon. Until then, stay safe and be good.